And welcome back, fellow fiends, to Let's Play Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. Sorry for not having a video uploaded yesterday. I had recorded the video, but Adobe Premiere decided it didn't really like it and cut off like half the video, and I don't really know why. But just as well, I wasn't playing very well in that part anyway, so I wanted to redo it anyways. Now that I'm done saying anyway, we're going to do some fusing for the first time in this playthrough, because we're actually high enough level to fuse something that I want, the wilder type demon, Bicorn. So let's just check out. Actually, this is pretty much the perfect fusion. This is exactly what I wanted. Alright, let's fuse them up. I wanted to get Tarukaja, and Tarunda's also pretty nice. And we're fusing Bicorn primarily because he has Sakukaja, and that's a skill I really want. Alright, let's get the fusion underway. And we have a new demon, Bicorn, and he's pretty strong, honestly. Much stronger than his component parts. You may have noticed that the fusion sequence was incredibly choppy. That is actually the game. I've said this previously, the PS2 Classics version of this game did not really do the game much justice graphically. It looks a lot smoother on the PS2 version, trust me. Luckily, after the first time you do a fusion, you can skip it every subsequent time. Besides from Bicorn, I also want to fuse up a Nozuchi, and there's a very specific reason I want to fuse up this Nozuchi. He'll be coming in handy later. And any different skills I can get? Just reset it a few times. Lullaby is honestly more useful than Needle Rush. This thing's got decent physical attack anyway. There we go. So yeah, that's fusion for you. You cannot pick directly the skills that your demons inherit, but they all have inheritance types, and you can reset the fusion until skills that you want them to have show up. But if demons aren't of the correct inheritance type, then no matter how hard you try, they probably won't get those skills. Like, a nice focused demon can't get fire skills. Off-screen, I actually got really lucky when I leveled up one of my demons once. They rewarded me with a luck incense. Incenses are the status boosting item of the game. They increase the corresponding stat by 1 point permanently. So there we go. Got an extra point of luck, and more luck is always useful. I can, since incenses are functionally identical to a level up save for increasing your HP or SP, and honestly, if they're a magic incense or a vitality incense, they're pretty close to identical. I can just invest my next point in the magic, which is good, because I wasn't paying attention to what my last point was. Now, time to show off teleporting for the first time. I believe that's the same animation from when it warped us into the Labyrinth of Amala, but instead it just drops us off at another terminal. Now, something I learned in my failed recording, always make safety saves, because you never know what can happen on hard mode this early in the game. Yeah, unfortunately on hard mode, the enemies seem to get back attacks much more often, or at least I assume so. And it does add a pretty strong luck element to the beginning of the game. Thankfully, actually, pretty soon, that element of the game is going to drop off, but for a while, sometimes I'll just have bad luck and I'll get destroyed. But you know what? Let's show off our new demons in battle. So yeah, Bicorn, he's got a decent amount of buffing prowess and a good amount of MP to use it all. And the skill Charm Bite, physical attack, can charm the enemy. But let's just use his regular physical attack. And he's much stronger than what we had before. And Fire Breath, fire boosted, hitting a weakness, and my high magic stat, really doing some good stuff for me. And more enemies to fight. I'm just gonna pass over to my turn as fast as I can. But yeah, this is actually a pretty good grinding spot, and I will be honest, I am gonna have to do a little bit of grinding, but we'll get to that when we get to that. As you can see, I have gained a couple of levels already. I was level 14 at the last recording, I believe. Now 16. But yeah, the fire weakness that these demons have make it a pretty good grinding spot. I got the Dia spell, and I'm actually going to be leveling up with Ankh equipped for a little bit, because he teaches a skill that I very much want to have. Actually, you know what? While I'm wandering around in this water, I better equip Wadatsumi, because those Isora's Ice Breath can really ruin your day. If you're running a physical build, or just any physical demons in this game, Sakugaja is your best friend. One layer of it will completely eliminate the chances of missing. It's actually, for physical builds in this game, it's actually a much better idea to invest in your agility and luck to raise your accuracy. Anyways, I'm skipping around a bit, not talking to people, but there's going to be a bit of backtracking, so I can just talk to people on the way back. For now, we'll start with getting the items in this area. And it's nice that we don't get attacked on these walkways, because it allows us to advance the moon phase, or Kagetsuchi phase, relatively quickly. Just rush this. No point in cutting that out. Hypixie's getting close to a level up. But now we do the fun thing. This is why I was referring to the Kagetsuchi phase. There's a mystic chest here. Yeah, in the failed recording, I actually did stop to talk to everyone on my first pass through their doors, but you know, it's hard to remember what you did do and what you didn't do when you have failed recordings. Luckily, I had backup saves. That was something I learned early on in my Let's Playing career. Career, as I refer to it. While we're advancing the Kagetsuchi, I picked up Disgaea 5. Very interesting game so far. Definitely a lot more complicated than the series has been in the past, and honestly, they were already a little complicated, but now it's more into the main game than just the particulars of the post-game. The added resistances and stuff that you have to pay attention to really adds a whole new layer to the thing, and I like the new ability system, but that'll be something to talk about for a different time. Another bead chain that we got from that chest. Sorry I didn't comment on that. I'm probably just going to sell it. I think I have a couple of them. That'll give me some decent spending money. Alright, let's hit up some of these doors. What do you got to say? So, looks like the mantra are the arch-enemies to the Assembly of Nihilo, as much as they can be arch-enemies. Does that mean they have any connection to Gozu Tenno? No, I haven't. Let's check him out. He might have some interesting stuff from before the conception occurred. Well, this is something I didn't really think about before. It seems like an awful lot of time has passed since the conception has happened. How long were we out in that hospital? Anyways, here's the junk mannequin. I say the word anyways a lot, don't I? Oh, he's the collector mannequin. A gatekeeper, you say? Nah, I'm sure we won't have to collect anything for him. What's it matter? Just talking to him because, hey, you gotta talk to everyone. Sometimes they have interesting stuff to say, but that guy is just someone who's obsessed with hoarding things. I know his name. Well, I don't know him personally, though. So, that establishes that connection there. Still, I don't think that kid should really idolize the mantra so much, or at least think so highly of them. They're kind of trying to enslave him. But kids are naive. Anyways, hey, can you let me through here? Well, this is our only way to Ikebukuro. Well, guess we have to talk to the collector mannequin. I'm just thinking about how much I say the word anyways, and now I'm starting to become self-conscious of it. It's that kind of thing you don't think about until you notice it. Yeah, he is not being very agreeable. Sure. So, this guy wants some, old world money. Well, lots of people are gathered in Ginza, so that's good as place as any. In fact, there's one area we couldn't get back to, if you remember. We couldn't get into Loki's room because that rather irate troll was blocking the way. Perhaps we can raid his room and see if he has anything that fits the description. I hope this guy isn't looking for any particular denomination of currency. He said he wanted a bill, though, so I don't think he's looking for coins. Let's talk to more of the people around here. At least they seem to be okay with living in this underpass. Don't seem to mind having to wade through the sewage, although since civilization has kind of collapsed, I don't know if anyone's really using toilets anymore. Got a poison arrow there, just I think it's a physical-based poison attack when you use it. These guys are so untrustworthy. Then again, I am a demon, so I guess they don't really have any reason to trust me. The encounter rate in this water can be really random sometimes. Sometimes you get into an encounter within a few steps, and other times you can go through it without getting into a one. Hey, here's the chief fellow. Little. Yeah, the mannequins are none too fond of demons. Yeah, it seems that they're artificial humans of some variety. I wonder who created them. Well, that'll be a question for another time, I guess. Let's link back to Ginza and conduct our search for a bill. You can skip the teleportation animation every subsequent time you teleport. Just those nice little things that make playing the game a bit easier. Use my safety save file because, well, you never know what can happen. The enemies in Ginza are pretty weak, but still. Better safe than sorry, right? Okay, let's hit the road. Or the pavement. There's actually a couple things I want to pick up before I head to our destination. First, just top ourselves off with healing. Luckily, healing HP and MP at the healing fountain is actually really cheap. Reviving is a bit more expensive, but just healing is actually really affordable, which is nice. Gives you some incentive to keep everyone alive, too. Not that you didn't have that already. Now, I want to go to Rag's Jewelry because there's a couple items that I can pick up that I really want. And they're the same item, the Deikaja Rock. We want these for an upcoming fight. And people who are familiar with the game can tell why I want these. We get 2 Deikajas. I'll have to use them wisely when the time comes. But Sakukaja is also for the same purpose. I really wanted that spell for the same reason I want the Deikaja Rocks. Alright. One thing I didn't mention about the sleep status, one of my characters got inflicted with it in battle and reminded me, is that every turn that you're asleep, you recover a small percentage of your HP and your MP. I think it's about 10%. So, Putting yourself to sleep can actually be a way to recover, but not a particularly great idea since you're very susceptible to being critically hit when you're asleep. I was actually talking to a friend of mine about that, and he said he recalls getting hits on sleeping enemies that didn't result in criticals, and every time I've ever done it, I've gotten critical hits, so I don't know if it's just an increased chance or if it's a guaranteed thing. Alright, we're gonna have to think of a way to get around this troll. Maybe just convince him a little bit, tell him, you know, we're just gonna be in there for a second. Maybe you can tell his boss he just had to go to the bathroom and someone got in there. Oh, wait, he's actually not around. Okay, that makes things a lot easier. Let's just go on in. There's a one-way lock, but the lock is on this side, so I don't know why they bother asking us to unlock it, because the other door is locked and you can't get in that way. And there's a bunch of mystic chests in here, so may as well use that repulse spell. But the mystic chests don't contain what we want. Instead, we look in this cash cube, and we get a 1,000 yen bill. Now, the way repulse spells work is, rather than just reducing the encounter rate, when an encounter is going to come up, the game checks to see if your level is significantly greater than what the enemies you're going to be put up against are. And if you're a fair deal higher leveled than them, well, you don't have to fight them. Basically works on the same principle as repels from Pokemon. It's weird how there's a lot of congruencies between this series and Pokemon. Oh, there actually is something. Oh, these guys. These guys are actually worth showing. Chatter Skulls. They are assholes. I don't have a better way to put that. They always start up by throwing up Secunda, and then crap like that happens. I hate these things. They can make what are otherwise very simple fights absolutely ridiculous. If they have backup, they will just spam Secunda until it caps out, and you will not be able to hit them at all. It can make fights against enemies that you are like twice as strong as borderline impossible. Hate those things. Be wary of them. Doesn't help that they also have high priority, so they tend to get the first go a lot. Alright, let's just pace slightly to advance the Kagetsuchi not too far. All of the mystical chests in here contain gems, and some of the more valuable gems of the game that you can trade for higher quality stuff. Okay. But you know what, even though our encounter rate is down for a little while, I'm feeling a little paranoid, so let's just top ourselves off here. And I still have Wadatsumi equipped, right? Yep. I really want Wadatsumi equipped right now, because the troll makes a comeback. Now, on normal mode, I assume this fight is just a big pushover and nothing to worry about, but on hard mode, this guy is actually pretty tough. He comes with a high physical attack and also Mabufala, which is the second tier ice spell that hits all of your party. This guy is not very nice, to put it mildly. I'm going to increase our evasion while decreasing his attack power, because he can actually put a pretty bad beat down on my team. Yeah, if I hadn't weakened him at all, that would have done a lot more. Alright, I'll start lowering his defense a bit more. I'm going to be sticking to Fire Breath. He's not actually weak to it, but the boost increases the damage it does by quite a bit, as you can see. Fire Breath also seems to react very badly with the PS2 Classics version, as it causes frame drops quite a bit. I really wish I could play this on my PS2, but unfortunately, it just doesn't work well with my capture device. Now luckily this guy is more partial to using his ice spell, which I nullify, so it's not a huge worry for me. But his physical attacks are still a worry, and honestly, a few of my demons are probably going to die in this fight, because I don't really have a good way to defeat this guy. I basically have to hope that he uses physical attacks as his preference. Oh wow, I'm actually out of MP. Luckily, this guy doesn't have much HP, like, yeah, he's only got like 600 or 700. He actually drops a bead chain, which is really nice. Pester, a negotiation skill that is of little importance. You just bother the enemy for magnet or maca and items. Honestly, they usually ask for more than you give them, so it's not worth it. I didn't have a second bead chain, but I did get a second one from that fight. Like I said, it's hard to remember what you had and hadn't done when you have to redo a recording. Anyways, let's top ourselves off. And be on our way. We'll have to make a quick stop at the Fountain of Healing. Luckily, he dropped quite a bit of money. Yeah, Chatter Skull's very nasty enemy in this area. They go first a lot, secunda you, and just not very nice to deal with. Yep. You know, I was going to check the map to see which way it was, but no, I was like, no, I shouldn't forget this already, but I did. I'm the kind of person who plays Silent Hill and basically checks the map every time I round a corner. Okay. It's a good idea to make a safety save right here. I didn't in the last recording, and I kind of paid for it. Basically, every time you do something major, even if it doesn't seem like it, you should save. Back to the Great Underpass. Yeah, if you go into the troll fight without a plan ahead of time, or at least not aware of how good the buffing and debuffing is, that would actually be a very nasty fight. You'd basically have to equip Wadatsumi and bank on him using ice attacks. And the repel has worn off, but I want to get into fights anyway. So I said at the beginning of this video that after it's over I'm going to be doing some grinding. And there's a very specific reason for that. I've been making reference to a boss fight that I've been having to prepare for, and it's a very infamous boss fight in this game. And basically, while I'm certain it's actually doable, I want the skill Medea, which is the last skill that Ankh teaches to you, and it teaches it at level 19, I believe. I really want Medea because since I have the highest magic, I'm really the best option for casting it. And trying to do that fight without multi-target healing is really, really rough. Luckily, aside from that, I pretty much have everything else I need. The grinding will also help out in getting B-Corn to level up so he has extra MP to buff with. And that's really all I need to do. For those who are not fans of level grinding in Let's Plays, don't worry, this is pretty much the only time in the game I'm going to explicitly stop to level grind. For the rest of the game, the pacing of your level ups is good enough that you shouldn't have to stop and grind. This is just kind of a rough part in the game where they didn't think too well about how your strength would compare to the boss. Anyways, since we helped this guy out, he's going to scratch our back. Alright, with that leather, we can turn it into the gatekeeper and he'll let us through. Just gotta make sure I have the right Magatama equipped. Fast Retreat is a skill that increases the chance of you escaping from fights, but I still think even with it, escaping from fights in hard mode is pretty much impossible, so it's not something I care about at all. What I really want is Medea. Alright, man, let us through. Alright, that was easy enough. I wonder what that guy said to him to let us through, though. Do they have some sort of deal? That's actually something that never gets elaborated on. It's just for some reason the collector can get us through the gatekeeper. They just needed a side quest to give us. Anyways, cash cube on that side, but it's blocked off. There is actually one enemy I'd like to run into in this area before the video is over, but if I don't encounter it, I'm not gonna fret about it too much. All right. Let's continue on our way again. Couldn't get through this way, so obviously have to go around this way. And when we go through here, that candelabrum we got, it's reacting to what? I don't really know. But yeah, the candelabrum is reacting to something. We're not sure what. There's the cash cube we saw. A couple medicines. That's okay. Hey, is this guy okay? The Grim Reaper? That guy who gave us the candelabrum, he said something about there being others that we had to collect. Perhaps there's another holder who has one? Perhaps we should retreat for now. It would be a good idea to gather ourselves before we get into any fights. After all, that guy says he was the Grim Reaper. It sounds dangerous. And this is going to be the first and hopefully only time in the game I have to stop and explicitly level grind. I really need Medea. This is a very tough fight coming up if you don't have it. And I think the earliest you can learn it is level 19, possibly 18. Whatever the case, I'll be learning it as soon as I can. And once I have it, that's when we're going to come back and actually get into this fight. But otherwise, honestly, it's just a very difficult fight to do without. I do have everything else I need. I have Rakukaja, which is something that I was really searching out for. I would have liked if I could have had something more durable than Huapo, but just having it at all, went down the wrong ladder, just having it at all will help immensely. Sakukaja was also something that I was really looking for, because even with the Deikaja rocks that I collected, it would be relying on a lot of luck just to use those two and hope it helps me out enough. So Sakukaja is something that I was really looking for, and I fused Bicorn with Tarukaja because physical attacks are my best option at this point in the game. Not really because I am lacking in magic, it's just I don't have a great amount of magic casters. Ooh, a bead. So having something to increase my physical power, especially once I run out of MP, which is a possibility since I'm going to be using Medea a lot, it's just a good thing to have. Right now, Bicorn is capable of maxing out Sakukaja buffs up to 4 times, and then casting a Tarukaja buff. If I'm fortunate, maybe he'll be able to get enough MP to do one Tarukaja after that. But if not, it's not a huge deal. Just one will help immensely. It'll shave off a lot of difficulty. You may have noticed I wasn't mentioning anything about debuffs, and that's because the upcoming boss has the skill Dakunda, which removes debuffs, so they're not a very reliable option for the fight. But yes, we do have a difficult fight coming up, and I will be preparing for it, so hopefully it won't take me too long. It should probably only take around like a half hour or so. And I will see you guys in the next video, and this is the part of any Nocturne Let's Play that anyone who's watching waits for, because they want to see how the player handles it. Until then, I will see you. Please have a nice day, my fellow fiends. Goodbye.